Oh, snap. It's time to yap. And I'm your host, Big C, and welcome to another episode of Just Yapping, episode number 13. It's the Sport Kings, better than diamond rings. Boop, 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 boop. Football. And mama said that foosball for the devil. You know what? Maybe I'm not sure, but hey, listen, my mom never said anything. So this episode is going to be talking about roads to the Super Bowl 59. That's right. We're going to be talking about tomorrow's games, tomorrow and Sunday, leading to the Super Bowl. Um, it's crazy because last weekend was sensational. They have some really, really good games. They have a lot of top seeds playing in these playoffs for the Super Bowl. Um, I know that this is not a NFL podcast or anything like that, but I figured that it'd be fun, to unwind a little bit and just talk about football. I know a lot of folks out there, especially some men and some women, really don't care for football, but it's just, hey, it's just a little insight to see, some of our enjoyments of sports. But if it were basketball or hockey or tennis or any other sport, I'll probably, would hit up on it if it was a real big event like the Super Bowl. And I know some of you folks, even though you might not like it, but you are around for the festivities of the Super Bowl, the food, the parties, the alcohol, if you do drink, if you don't, just to have fun around family and friends. I love it. I grew up playing football from age 7 all the way to some collegiate and semi-pro, a few tryouts. But anyway, we're not here for that. We're here talking about the Super Bowl, all the roads that lead to the Super Bowl. So this coming weekend, starting tomorrow, on the AFC side, listen, I don't. It's not that I don't. I don't like. It's not. I shouldn't say like, because not. That I don't like a certain thing because that's kind of harsh. But I don't care for them too much. It's only because of all the publicity and all the stuff and all the star, like whatever, the Swifty, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like it should just be. I wish them well. I hope they, whatever. But then I don't. I wish that we'll get some fresh, teams in there and fresh blood and see a brand new Super Bowl for this coming year. It's kind of redundant, repetitive that you see the same teams every year. But hey, if you're good, you're good. You can't stop that. That's nobody's fault. They know how to win championships, and that's all that matters. But sometimes, they give more camera time and all that to other unnecessary BS. But anyway, and I know the little girls like what I was talking about before as far as Swifty and stuff like that because they're Taylor Swift pants. But anyway, so going on to the AFC, it's starting tomorrow. It's Kansas City. It's at Kansas City, right? Versus the Texans. I want the Texans to win, but in my defense, I don't think they will. Only it's because Kansas City is too they're just well rounded. They're a well rounded football team. Not saying the Texans can't come and beat Kansas City because anything is possible. You can have your adversity and all that stuff that you've planned, and it's basically a chess game. What it is, even though they play football, it's a strategies game, right? So you never know; they could come out and win. But I'm thinking that the Texans will not. Unfortunately, KC might just advance, but anyway. Now going to the second half of that, I think that game is at 4:30 for the Kansas City and the Texans game in Kansas City. And tomorrow's big game that's on the AFC side is the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. Now they're predicting snow in Buffalo. And it snows in Buffalo. I've never been to Buffalo, but I have friends that live up there, and they say when it snows, it snows. So they're going to be ready for it. The Bills Mafia are ready for it. They love that stuff. The Bills fans, they breed that stuff. They love it. That's what football is all about. They play at 6:30, but I don't want, they're well rounded on both ends, right? They have great quarterbacks, and they have great defenses on both ends, and they have great receivers and great running backs. That's what an organization can only wish for. Only at the end comes out one winner, right? I'm looking for the Baltimore Ravens to advance to next week's AFC Championship game against whoever wins against Kansas City and the Texans. Now we jump down to the NFC for Sunday. Sunday's first game is, I think, 3:00, and the 3:00 game is against the Eagles from Philadelphia and the Rams, right? I'm looking for the Eagles to come out victorious. It's only because, I'm a fan of Saquon Barkley. And I think that his addition to the Eagles is very, very lucrative because, they could go all the way if they play right. Eagles are a very, very strong team defensively. I seen the Rams play this past week. And they played pretty well. But I'm in favor of the Eagles only is because they play in Philadelphia at a home field advantage, and the Philly fans are insane, and they're going to bring that eagle soar, whatever, however you guys say it. So that is for Sunday at 3:00. That's the first game, and then my favorite, it's not my favorite football team. I'm just saying the one that I think will, go to the top to the Super Bowl. Now, these are only my predictions, so don't go sending me comments that you don't know what you're talking about. You're stupid, whatever. That stuff is unnecessary. It's just everybody has an opinion, right? So my thing would be, it's the Commanders against Detroit Lions. Now, I'm a big fan of Coach Campbell. Coach Campbell is the prime example of a former player who wasn't bad at all. He's very good. Especially if you go to the NFL, you have to be good, right? Some. And Coach Campbell he has that winning mentality, which I enjoy. And I'm pretty sure a lot of, especially the fans out in Detroit, are going bonkers right now. Detroit has a very stacked offense, a very stacked defense. Special teams are really good. They have some fantastic receivers on the Detroit side, and I'm not knocking the Commanders because the Commanders played well last week. But I think the Commanders kind of got lucky because their quarterback, which is an LSU graduate, and my niece and nephew are also, well, my niece is an alumni, but my nephew goes there. And I think that Mr. Jaden Daniels played very, very well. But there were a couple of defensive mistakes on the other side. So that's why I think he was able to do what he did. But he still is a really good quarterback, right? He's sensational. He really is. I think he's a rookie this year. So that goes to show you what kind of quarterback he is going to be in the future. So with that being said, but still, they're going to be in Detroit tomorrow night at 8:00. They're going to be in Detroit, and Detroit fans are probably, going to paint their hair blue and go insane. And I didn't even notice, but I am wearing kind of like the Detroit Lions blue. So I think you guys know the story. So the winners out of the AFC and the NFC, because there are only 8 teams left, there will be 4 coming up for next week's game, which is on the 26th. One will be at 3 p.m. That's the NFC game, and the AFC game will be at 6:30 at night, depending on who will be victorious on both the NFC and the AFC. And then all roads lead to Super Bowl 59, which is February 9th in New Orleans, Louisiana, right? And I hope, I don't hope, I just wish that whoever comes out victorious, it'll be a great time, and all the fans will come out and support both teams. And there's, some really good, it's going to be a really, really good contest, and there's some good commercials on TV and stuff. Not like the commercials aren't like they used to be from back in the day, but they're still fun to watch. I know growing up, we used to have like the Bud Bowl and stuff like that. Some of you young audience members won't won't understand that stuff, but you just got to look back into the YouTube pages and see the old commercials that they used to have. They're pretty funny. But again, who's the halftime show? I don't remember who the halftime show is this year. I'm pretty sure my son's gonna be like, Dad, you don't know who it is? It's so and so, and it's probably a hip hop artist. But and that's it. I think that so usually we host at my house. We host a Super Bowl party because it also is mixed in with a couple of birthday parties. So we kind of like knock it out with one stone. We have a great time. My nieces and nephews come and everybody has a great time. You know, even though some are not, like my wife, she's not a super duper football fan after 20 plus years of being together. She knows that I have some levels in football. I was also a high school football coach. That she kind of sits next to me on Sundays, before the playoffs, to just sit down and I like to hear her like scream and yell, and she understands like burst down and all that other stuff, which is really cool. But her favorite part of this Super Bowl, and like I'm pretty sure a lot of my fans out there, is the food, right? Who doesn't like chicken wings or some sliders, or right stuff, that finger foods and whatever else, and a couple of brewskis to sit back. If you do drink alcohol, drink responsibly, but a couple of beers, a couple of cocktails, whatever you guys like, right? And it's fun. And then plus the kids have a great time. There's, of course, they get all hocked up on cookies and cake and all that other sweet stuff. And then they go home and blah, 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 let's play football. Right? And the parents will be thanking me later on for having all that sweet stuff. But the kids have a great time. And my son has a ball. He is a Philadelphia Eagles fan, so he'll be rooting for the Eagles. My nephews are, my three nephews are the Kansas City Chiefs fans. So I know these last 2 years they were bananas with that stuff, but it's really cool. I love seeing the fan cheering and all that stuff. It's really, really cool. You guys let me know in some comments, what are you guys going to be doing for this, actually for the playoffs or for the Super Bowl? Some of you guys are fortunate enough to have that and fly out to New Orleans and go actually see a Super Bowl game. That's really cool. I've never been to a Super Bowl game. I did have the opportunity when I was in the United States Marines in Hawaii, when the Pro Bowl used to be played out there back in the early 2000s. The Pro Bowl was being played, and the tickets were $20. You heard right, $20 a ticket. And we were going to go, but young Marines back then, we were broke because we were partying too much. So we didn't get the opportunity to go. That would have been great to see. But for those of you that are going to go to the event, be very careful, have fun, have a great time. In any aspect, especially these young professional players, in any sport, whether football, whether basketball, whether hockey, baseball, whatever, it must be amazing. It must be an amazing feeling for that person, male or female, like female sports like WNBA or swimming or tennis, whatever, to be a part, right, of something so big like a championship event, or not even that, or just being around other professional athletes. It's probably insane, right? Soccer, women's soccer or men's soccer, whatever. It's probably unbelievable to see, especially because you're a part of that, and I was kind of fortunate enough a little to, I wish we only had the social media that we had today, that we have today back then. It'd be amazing. I think I'd be talking to you on a different platform if that were the case. And I'm not being braggadocious. I'm just saying there's a lot more opportunity now than back then. I did have the opportunity to see, in high school, I was a dumb dummy. So my grades were horrendous. And I didn't know that I could have actually went to a college or university on a scholarship to play football. But it was too late because I was already a senior and I was already doing this and already doing that. And coaches were coming up to me and I'm like, my grades are like 0.00. But I wasn't serious about school. And that's really, that's really tough. So you kids, listen out there and make sure you do your studies, because you never know who's watching, right? So with that being said, I was able to go to a junior college, which is a JUCO, in my very first year. thank my high school football coach that actually brought me to the college, the junior college, and sat down with the head coach and said, "Hey, this is my dude right here. Here's his film. Take him, and he'll do you well." So we went to our first year. We went undefeated. We went to the national championship junior college. We played out in Pocatello, Idaho, which is home to the Idaho State of University. I think they're the Vandals, right? I could be wrong. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. Anyway, it was a great experience. We ended up losing, and I'm not going to say, how coaches are like, oh, it was my fault in planning it. No, I'll take full blame because it was my, again, being dummy, was not paying attention, and we got a penalty on the last drive, and it was my fault. So we ended up losing the national championship because of moi. And I still hear my coach yelling after almost 20 something, 25, 26 years, or maybe more. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that in any level, for me, that those are great experiences seeing, and I also played with guys on a team that went professionally. So I can only imagine the feeling that they had and their families had of watching them play or being there live and all that. Watching your son or your daughters play must be an amazing feeling. I only had a little microchip of that, and for me, it was fantastic. So again, I can only imagine, that feeling. So I wish everyone who is pursuing a professional degree in sports, meaning playing, I wish you well. It's a lot of hard work. If you put your mind to it and you have the stars and you reach as high as you can and touch them, and there's people watching, and make sure that your grades are not like mine, never like mine. Just do your thing. I try to instill that in my son, and to look forward, climb that ladder, touch those stars, because they're up there, and you never know how far you can go. So again, if you guys have any comments or anything, please put it up, because I don't know what's up with TikTok. They said maybe not, but I'll put it up in my TikTok for tonight. And if not on YouTube, just send me some comments. What are the foods that you guys eat? What are you guys doing? Or do you have plans for the Super Bowl? And all that other stuff. All right. So I think that's my time. Thank you very much. Thank you for your comments. Please subscribe, like, and maybe for the next time we'll see you after the Super Bowl if everything goes well. All right. Good luck to your teams. Let's cheer and have fun and be safe. I'm Big C. Peace.